Martha Blackwood was 72 years old. She lived alone in a small wooden house at the edge of Raven Town, USA. Her husband had died years ago, and her only son, Daniel, had disappeared under mysterious circumstances. People in the town called her Crazy Old Martha. They laughed at her. They ignored her. They thought she was weak. But they didn't know the truth. 5 years ago, a powerful businessman named Richard Hale had stolen Martha's land. He had forged papers, bribed lawyers, and forced her son Daniel to leave town. One rainy night, Daniel went to confront Richard. He never came back. The police said it was an accident. Martha knew it was murder. From that day, her heart turned to stone. She stopped crying. She stopped begging. And she started planning. Martha was not always a helpless old woman. In her youth, she had been a criminal investigator for the federal government. She knew how to read lies. She knew how to follow money. She knew how to destroy enemies without touching a weapon. But age made people underestimate her. That became her weapon. One night, she opened an old metal box hidden under the floorboards. Inside were fake passports, old investigation files, a small black notebook with names. On the first page, she wrote, "Richard Hale target." She whispered, "They took my son. Now I will take everything from them." Richard Hale was now the richest man in Raven Town. He owned a hotel, a factory, half the land in the valley. Martha went to his office pretending to be a poor, confused old woman. "I want to sell my house," she said softly. Richard smiled. Old women were easy prey. "I will buy it cheap," he said. Martha signed fake documents that secretly transferred his factory land to her through a hidden legal trick. Richard didn't notice. 2 weeks later, the government sealed his factory. "Illegal ownership," the letter said. Richard shouted in rage. Martha sat in her kitchen, sipping tea. "One piece of revenge served," she whispered. Richard Hale was furious after losing his factory. "Find out who did this!" he screamed at his lawyer. Martha watched him from far away, wearing her old grey coat and broken shoes. She hired a private hacker using her fake identity, Mrs. Ellen Woods. Within days, she had Richard's bank records, secret payments to police, video of him meeting criminals. She sent anonymous emails to tax department, news agencies, federal investigators. The city woke up to headlines: "Business tycoon under investigation for corruption." Richard's friends stopped answering his calls. His empire started cracking. Martha smiled. Martha wanted Richard to feel fear, the same fear her son felt. One night, Richard's car brakes failed on a mountain road. The car crashed into a tree. Richard survived, but his legs were paralyzed. The police called it an accident. Martha read the news silently. "Now you know pain," she said. But her revenge was not finished. She wanted the truth about Daniel. Martha followed an old cleaner who once worked in Richard's factory. The woman was drunk and guilty. She confessed, "Your son was killed." Richard ordered his men to scare him. But they pushed him into the river. Martha recorded everything. Her hands shook, but her eyes were dry. That night, she went to the river where Daniel had died. She dropped a flower in the water. "Wait for me, my son. Justice is coming." Martha sent the recorded confession to the police and media. Richard Hale was arrested in his hospital bed. Cameras flashed. Reporters shouted, "Did you kill Daniel Blackwood?" Richard stayed silent. In court, Martha appeared as a weak old woman with a cane. But when she spoke, her voice was sharp like a knife. My son trusted this man. He was murdered for land and money. The cleaner woman testified. The bank records proved bribery. The fake accident was no longer just an accident. Richard knew, Martha had destroyed him without touching a gun. The judge announced, Richard Hale is guilty of murder, corruption, and land theft. Sentence, life imprisonment. His properties were taken by the government. His name became a symbol of shame. Raven Town celebrated justice. People who once laughed at Martha now stood outside her house with flowers. They called her, the Lioness of Raven Town. But Martha did not smile. Because revenge had not healed her heart. One night, Martha visited Richard in prison. He was old, broken, and sitting in a wheelchair. Why didn't you just kill me? He asked. Martha replied, death is easy. Living with guilt is harder. She placed Daniel's photo on the table. This is what you took from me. Richard cried for the first time. Martha walked away without looking back. Her revenge was complete. Years later, Martha planted a tree near the river where Daniel died. She opened a small school for poor children using the money she got back. Every child called her Grandma Martha. One evening, she sat under the tree and whispered, "My son, justice won." For the first time in many years, Martha Blackwood smiled. Sunrise, the end.